Complete the sentence. Type N. In these questions, there will be 4 words and 3 codes. There is no order to the way the words and codes are written down. Each of the codes will match one of the words, but there is one word in the list that does not have a code. The question will ask you to find the code that matches one of the words, or use a code to find a word. Each code includes the numbers 1 to 9, and each letter has a specific number, but there is no link between the numbers and the order of the alphabet. How to answer the question? First, look at the numbers in the codes and look for any clues that might help you. If there are any words with double letters, look for a code with double numbers. If there are any words with 2 of the same letter, look for a code with 2 of the same numbers in the same place. If you can find this, you should have matched at least one code to a word. By matching one code to a word, you'll have matched some numbers to their letters. Look at the other words to see if any of those letters are in other words. If there are any of those letters in other words, write their numbers underneath them to help find the codes of these words. Look again at the codes and the remaining spaces in your words. See if you can see any other patterns you can use to complete the codes. If you can, write them underneath. Once you have worked through the codes logically, you should have found most of the codes for the words. If there are still spaces, work logically through the numbers 1 to 9 to find which number is missing and fill in the spaces. Example: if the codes for want, haul, form, and worn are 2783, 2768, and 4561, but not in that order, what is the code for tomorrow? First, look for double letters. Haul has a double L at the end. Is there a code with double numbers at the end? There aren't any codes that have double numbers at the end of the code, so we know that the word haul doesn't have a code. 2 of the words want and worn begin with the letter W. Look for 2 codes that both begin with the same number. 2783 and 2768 both begin with the same number, so W must be 2. They also both have A after the W and in both codes, so looking at the 2 codes beginning with 2, the 2 numbers afterwards are 7, so A must be 7. Fill 2 and 7 in under the words to start making the codes. You can also see that the words want and worn both have N in them. In want it is the 3rd letter, and in worn it is the last letter. Look at the codes beginning with 27 and see if there is a number in both codes that is in 3rd position and the last position. The number 8 is in the 3rd position in one code and the last position in another code, so N must be 8. Now, just by looking at the codes you were given, you can fill in the gaps in the words want and worn, and you also know that the code for form is the only code left over. You don't need to find the code for haul to answer the question, so don't waste time trying to find the code for haul. Now we know what each number represents, it is easy to find the code for tomorrow. T3, O5, M1, O5, R6, R6, O5, W2. Practice questions. Number 1. If the codes for beer, blur, luck, and cats are 4735, 6229, and 6475, but not in that order, what is the code for buckle? Number 2. If the codes for itch, hair, mill, and rain are 2366, 3714, and 4538, but not in that order, what does 14582 mean? Number 3. If the codes for fact, idle, fade, and hill are 8247, 8251, and 3497, but not in that order, what is the code for acted? Number 4. If the codes for pony, cool, roll, and risk are 2665, 4659, and 3618, but not in that order, what does 38561 mean?